Let's get a proper level.
Let's get a proper level. Here I am talking at the volume that I intend to talk at.
That never works.
Whether I do or not
No.
is another thing.
You won't.
Entirely.
No. Okay.
Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free. Now they're cellulose free.
Hello, dear listener, and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin, and with me, as always, is my fellow film watcher, compadre and son, Thomas.
Hi, hello.
I find myself having to do that introduction slightly different each time now, more obviously different.
Yeah?
Because of the plethora of mail that we received saying that section is pre-recorded. Plethora.
Yeah.
Cornucopia. An abundance of. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Didn't bring it up last week because it had only just started, but Advent of Code has been going on all this month. The creator of it has decided to rein things in a little bit.
Right.
And so it's only the first 12 days of December that we get a puzzle and then a twist or elaboration on that puzzle.
Okay, rather than the full
25, yeah.
Right.
All the way up to Christmas Day,
Oh,
which was usually one puzzle and then you got the last star for free.
Right.
So we're down to 12. Today is day 10 as we're recording this. And so far we have dealt with blinking lights and buttons, tiles in a theatre, circuits in a playground, tachyon splitters, Squid Kids math homework, fresh food IDs, wrapping paper rolls, surge damage lifts, bad gift shop data, and a decor emergency. We are still dealing with the decor emergency. It's sort of the overall story of this particular set of puzzles.
Okay, so you're not doing a puzzle that stops 16 and unders from accessing any social media then?
No.
Oh.
No. Why would we do that?
Well, nobody else seems to be doing it successfully.
Today's puzzle, the one I referred to as blinking lights and buttons.
Yeah, the blinking lights.
Particularly frustrating and almost broke me. But I did find a way around it, which meant learning a completely new Python library, but...
I thought you were going to say a whole new language.
Well, sort of.
Wow. Well, I guess, if you're dealing with a new library, then you've got... okay.
Yeah, I learnt exactly enough of the SAT Solver Z3 in order to...
the good old SAT Solver Z3.
In order to just barely eke out a win today.
Or, for our American listeners, the Z3.
And
sorry, that's a callback to last week's episode.
And I banged my head against the wall about it for about 2 hours before I decided to go down that route, so...
What time did you actually bang your head against the wall?
Probably about dinner time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just that I banged my head against a tree.
Right.
Earlier today, and I thought maybe we had coordinated the whole heavy metal head-banging thing. But
as we're recording this, it's about 3 hours since the puzzle came out.
Right.
And I was working on it from then up until after dinner.
Okay. Yeah, well, it would be probably 5 hours since I banged my head against a tree.
Right.
Accidentally.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, the old, I'm wearing a hat so I don't see the branch above me type of deal. Which wasn't quite as bad as banging my head on the underneath of an overpass with a metal I-beam that connected quite solidly with my head.
Anyway, I'm expecting a pathfinding puzzle probably tomorrow, and that one probably will kill me.
Oh.
So
Well, look, if you need some help, Thomas, I'll be around editing, so... Oh, no, you won't be up by then, will you?
By 4 p.m? I think I'll be up by 4 p.m.
Okay, you'll be up by 4 p.m, but I will have been finished editing.
Yeah.
But I'll still probably be here to give assistance where assistance needed. I'll blow the dust off my Fortran and Pascal and COBOL language skills and give you a hand.
And yesterday, a security camera sitting under my room just decided to beep repeatedly every few seconds for no obvious reason.
Yeah, no, and I can't quite fathom why it did it either. I think it just had a hissy fit, maybe got a little warm or something and lost connection.
I know that it lost connection because it was connected up to Google Home, and I could have looked at what it was looking at, but I couldn't, so...
Yeah, well, I went to turn it off.
Yeah.
Or at least turn the alarm off remotely. But when I tried to do that, it was showing that it was offline, which is why it wasn't quite a surprise when I got the message from Mum, was that it sent me 2 random photos saying that human presence has been detected.
Right.
And I looked at the images that it sent and there were ghostly figures.
Mm.
Okay, there weren't. There was no evidence whatsoever in the photos that it sent. Okay, just some clarification, dear listener. The reason we have a security camera underneath the house is not to detect ghostly figures. It is for me to be able to monitor any water seepage that happens to go under the house when it's raining very heavily. So that I can just make sure I can turn the pump on and see that the pump has pumped out the water, and I can turn it off all remotely because I'm lazy and don't want to go outside in the rain. Don't you go out in the rain. Don't go out in the pouring rain. Actually, I think that was an Australian song, so that won't mean much to you either. Anyway.
Okay, so the sneakily inserted song lyrics count is now up to 2.
Good.
And if you can work out what the first one was,
let
us know down in the comments.
Yeah,
because I'm sure he'll want to know also.
Yeah, well, I can't remember.
Speaking of you...
Me? Yes.
What else have you been up to?
What have I been... That's it for you, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't you go to the pictures?
Oh, I did go to... No, we talked about that last week.
Did we?
Yeah. Other people went to the pictures
I'm trying
yesterday.
to remember what you went to see.
The third Knives Out film. Which,
that's right.
As we're recording this, comes out in 2 days on Netflix. And as it's going out, comes out in 1 day on Netflix.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, a couple of others went to see...
FNAF 2.
FNAF 2. And I haven't even found out from Daniel what he thought of it. But I'm guessing he would have told me if it was absolute rubbish, so...
I'm told his feelings are complicated.
Oh, they're always complicated. I'll get him to write a 2,000-word essay.
Yeah,
cool. What have I been up to? Look, not much, really. I must admit, no, I don't even have to admit it. I can proudly state that on Saturday, instead of running on the Parkrun, I volunteered in one of the volunteer positions. I was scanning people's barcodes after they finished the race.
Yep.
When they cross the line, they're getting given a little token that has their placement on it, which also has a barcode on it. And there's a little app that each competitor should have their own.
Yeah.
And quite a few didn't. They did the 5K run and then said, right, what do I do with this? And they hadn't signed up. And I said, well, look, you could sign up. But yeah. Anyway, so I was running my phone with the app and scanning people's barcodes and then scanning their placements. And then once everyone has finished with that and the timer has been officially stopped, this particular app also has a timer function that somebody else is operating, and then everything gets merged together for final results. So rather than run, I still walked my 5Ks to get there, and then I walked about 8Ks home.
Mm-hmm.
I went a circuitous route just to get myself a little more exercise. Knee was just a little sus, so I thought, no, the walk will be enough for today.
Mm-hmm.
And the forecast for Saturday was going to be fairly warm, and my heart wasn't into running in hot weather.
Yep.
So they're really desperate for volunteers, and so I put my hand up on Friday night, and then spent the rest of Friday night, Saturday morning thinking, oh, what if it's a really cliquey group, and even though there were positions vacant for these volunteer positions for that particular day, maybe there is a person who always comes in late and then expects that to be their position. The brain just went catastrophizing, and as it does, and then I got that there, and they thanked me profusely, and I said, well, that's good, because, and I explained that to them and said, no, there are no assigned positions or expectations there, and if you are available, then do it. And then they proceeded to announce at the beginning of the race, we're really, really desperate for volunteers next week. And so I put my name down for barcode reader again. I don't think I could do any of the other time-critical jobs, as in handing out tokens and running the timer and things like that. Because if you get that wrong, you got various levels of people's keenness and obsession about these things.
The stakes, technically speaking, are so low.
Exactly.
So very low.
Yeah.
The stakes, mentally speaking, are variable.
Yeah. And I mean, they have made a deliberate point of the bell rings, the starter starts the timer, and then when people come in, they hit a button each time someone crosses the line, and they call out the number that they got, and then the person hands out the token with that number on it. That's how it's supposed to work. I got a couple of tokens stuck together. So everything was slightly out of whack, but it was during a time where there was a lot of people crossing the line, and the timer only counts to the nearest second.
Yeah.
It's not hundredths of a second or anything like that. It's the closest second. So those tokens that were stacked were probably at the same level anyway. So, Anyway. But I still couldn't do the whole token dealing with.
No.
But then people just line up casually when they've got their breath back and have their barcode scanned, and so there's not quite the pressure on that. I was still totally peopled out by the end of it, but it was a different type of peopled out than standing at the starting line surrounded by 300 people. And that does my head in too. Why do I do this? No, it's actually, I know why I do it. There's a certain level of buzz that I'm getting out of it that's pretty good. I think that's pretty much all I want to really deal with today, because we've got a fairly lengthy movie to get into. I think we've got quite a few comments to deal with also. So I think we might get stuck into this week's movie, a more mauvey shade of pinky russet dishwasher tablets.
Yeah.
That's what we're watching, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Or as they say in the industry,
Crimson Tide.
Yeah, it's Crimson Tide. And I seem to recall mentioning last week that I couldn't remember why I'd actually put this on the list.
Yeah.
It dawned on me during the week that it's because Gene Hackman's in it.
Right.
And I did a search of films with Gene Hackman in it and noticed that this was about because Gene Hackman passed away fairly recently, and thought I'll add that to my list of films that I want to watch. Directed by Tony Scott.
Yep.
Who is the baby brother of Ridley Scott.
Right.
I didn't realise. And Tony Scott also directed Top Gun and Unstoppable, which we've watched both of those for the podcast.
Yep.
And he was the executive producer of The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, which we haven't watched for the podcast. No. Anyway, that's what we're watching today. Thomas, could you tell our dear listener what Crimson Tide is about?
The captain of a submarine wants to launch an attack while his deputy wants to wait for confirmation. Their conflict escalates into a mutiny, with both of them fighting for the command of the ship.
Did we watch, I think it was for the podcast, an old black and white film where there's a bomber with nuclear bombs?
Failsafe?
Failsafe. That seems to have that same sort of gist to it, a confusion in lines of command and whether things are legit. Sorry, I'm preempting things here.
Yeah.
We'll get to that when we watch the movie, because my observation may be entirely incorrect. We're going to watch it on Digny Plug, I think. Yes. And then we're going to come back and talk about it. So we shall catch you on the flip side.
Turn to side B.
You do not turn a submarine upside down.
No, probably a bad idea.
Yeah, any type of aquatic vessel is probably not wise. I was going to say it's probably the submarine would be the best
Yeah.
to do it in, but I still don't.
Not great.
No, don't do it.
No, all the stuff is bolted down to what's usually the floor.
When the floor becomes the roof. A good old poop side down adventure again.
That's amore?
Let's get on with this, you mongrel. So, what did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's solid. It takes a minute to get going, but then when it does get going, it doesn't really stop until it's at the end.
Did you find, and I agree with you 95%, but did you find that the build-up of suspense at the end was a little too long in its pacing? It could have been just a little bit shorter. It was a bit like the announcement of the winner of a game show, and they build up, and we'll go to a break. Almost that stretching, and that's why I say 95% of it was extremely well paced, and the build up was really good. But then it just,
in some ways, it is a film about procedures, and we've set up this procedure for how you authenticate an emergency action message.
Yep.
And so, at the end of the film, we have to follow that procedure.
Oh, yeah. But it was that whole getting the radio message through bit that I felt was, come on. And I don't think it was a case of, oh, come on. It was more a case of, yeah, we get it. With the blinking lights and the blinking screen, which just didn't make sense, really.
We want you to experience all 3 of these minutes.
And I understood that the dialogue between the two was important for those 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. And yet the showing of the blinking screen for interminable lengths of time didn't, I feel, benefit. It's just a niggly thing. I just, I was beginning to almost yawn rather than the desired effect of building up the suspense. So, yeah.
Probably just not spending enough time also looking at the people with guns, pointing their guns at the other people with guns.
Oh, dear. I didn't write a lot of notes, but one of the notes that I wrote, and this, I think I still agree with it after I wrote it, because it was a fairly intense section where I decided to actually write it. But it was, in a lot of ways, it was by the numbers. Mm-hmm. That this has been done before, and it has been done since, and so those numbers are well and truly established. So in a lot of ways, it was by the numbers, but they were the right numbers. Yeah. And they were solid numbers. And the actors were good. Yep. And the claustrophobia was depicted well. There are occasional times where the scale of the vessel changed. Yeah, sometimes it would take this long to get from point A to point B, and then other times it would take a lot longer to get from point A to point B. That threw me a bit pacing-wise as well. And the other bit, as far as going by the numbers, was there was just that feeling of hornblower as well, with the captain who has in some ways lost a grasp of what his responsibilities are, or reality even, in the moment. So, yeah, I kept on seeing David Warner as far as the television production of Hornblower is concerned. I kept on seeing David Warner in Gene Hackman and waiting for him to get knocked down a set of stairs. I was really surprised that he didn't get a punch in the face, but also was not surprised that he didn't. It was still that balance.
I mean, in a lot of ways, a submarine film is just any other naval film with a roof. And
then the claustrophobia that entails. Yeah.
And depth. Sometimes depth is dangerous.
Yep.
But
and sometimes surface is dangerous.
Well, yes.
So,
surface isn't anything new for the Navy.
No. But that's the thing about the submarine. It is designed to not be visible, and therefore it's got its own set of problems.
Yeah.
And
so, like any naval film, we have to have the point at which some number of people have to be sacrificed to the gods of the sea.
Yes.
Because of our hubris.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm stunned it's taken, because I do have a number of submarine movies on the shelf. I don't have this on the shelf, and it has been available to me for some time and has been on I was going to say the radar, but probably more likely the sonar, for a very long period of time, but I've never got round to it. And I'm really glad that we did watch that. I did have my hesitations and worries, but that was solid. Yeah, apart from those few niggling pacing issues and a sometimes overbearing Hans Zimmer soundtrack where he decided to get the synths a little heavy.
It's the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. And director-wise, I'm going to put it out there, I think plot-wise and tightness-wise, director-wise, it was certainly tighter than Top Gun. And it was a technically better film than Top Gun.
I feel like I had a better time with it than Top Gun.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the director was working on the sequel to Top Gun, early days, scouting locations with Tom Cruise. And then, unfortunately, he had some kind of a mental health episode and he's no longer with us. So he certainly won't be doing a sequel to this.
Although apparently Bruckheimer still wants to, at least this year recently.
Yeah, this year recently he mentioned that he was developing a sequel and was hopeful that Washington would reprise his role. Interesting he mentions Washington. The director had him in a lot of films. I mean, he was in Unstoppable as well, and numerous other films that Tony Scott directed. So, yeah, I would be up for it. I'm not quite sure. Well, actually, no, it would work. Naval officers, there is certainly a career ladder.
Well, just have Denzel Washington play the Gene Hackman role, I guess.
Well, it was a bit ominous in the closing credits where they had the screen saying things have changed and now the chain of command is that the President of the United States sends the command.
Yeah.
So instead of questioning commands on the submarine, will there still be questioning of commands? I don't know.
Yeah.
Story for another day. A sequel, in fact, even maybe, where you have a president with questionable. Anyway. Do you have anything else to say about this film?
No.
I'm quite chuffed that we watched that. It was solid. Good. All right, then, we shall move on then.
The following segment has no title. Thank you.
And we will start with a backlog comment on Discord from Entuosferatu.
No, sorry. It's either last week's episode or nothing. I'm sorry. We can't. All right, then. Hang on. I'm actually stalling because I'm trying to bring it up.
Yeah. I'm going to go on anyway.
Okay, hang on. You can't, though, because I have not said my piece. Hi, Entuosferatu.
On our episode on The Amateur, Entuosferatu says, belated and non-movie related comments re things underfoot whilst trying to swim. My two most vivid memories are visiting Pebble Beach, the actual beach, not the golf course. Wow, that sure is literal in naming and very uncomfortable to walk on in bare feet.
I keep on watching, shows that are set in the UK, and the number of beaches in the UK that are pebble beaches, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. And, we certainly have pebble beaches here, but they're predominantly sand beaches, in Tasmania at least. I have stood on a couple of pebble beaches and could not take off my shoes and go for a swim in that. No. It's just madness.
Just the right size to do unintentional acupressure.
Yeah. Ouch, 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 ouch. In fact, I bought a pair of thongs today. I don't know what the translation is here.
Flip-flops.
Flip-flops, jandals, if you're in New Zealand. Yes. $1.50 for a pair of thongs just to have in the backpack for when I'm faced with situations like that.
Second memory. My family growing up had a boat and we did a lot of water skiing and other lake-related things while camping. I believe it was Don Pedro Reservoir in California that we only visited once. The shore was 100% red clay mud, feet thick.
Yuck.
We kids had great fun, but it turns out it stains skin, boats, seats, towels.
Oh, yuck. But fun, yes.
Returning to the nearer present, E of Pi.
Hi, E of Pi.
Said, I had to go back and check if I had made an error or you did, and the error was mine. It was the indefenestrable 3, implying that this giant mobile mining facility is incapable of being thrown out a window? But perhaps a replacement for earlier ones which might have been.
Okay, this now makes a lot more sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Sadly, despite many silly things in the game, it is indeed never thrown out a window. Autocorrect, however, took a lot of persuasion to believe that's a word, and my phone corrected it without me noticing.
You've got to love the auto-carrot.
Referencing the bit in the episode now 3 weeks ago about defenestration, which came out up somehow. It's amazing how these things can go. As for the weather, it's also 25 or 27 here.
Gee, that's hot.
Which means the snow is lingering nicely on the ground, but has melted off all the places I shoveled, so the sidewalks aren't slippery. Translation.
Degrees of separation.
It's very funny, this series, which is to say Fast and Furious, managed to run out of steam, like this, right in the middle of a supposed 2-part final movie, which, if it had enough energy to get all made, probably wouldn't have actually been final, but having sputtered out in the middle of it, very well might be. I look forward to special guest The Rock next week to announce how wrong I am and that principal photography will begin immediately.
Dwayne.
Yeah?
Do you have anything to say about that?
I'm not doing a Dwayne Johnson voice.
Look, we suspended disbelief there for a second, but then it defenestrated.
I try not to think about Dwayne The Rock Johnson too much. Helen, over on Facebook.
Hi, Helen.
Says, I had to declare my West Coast scratches to the plasma nurse too, but they were such piddly little things, especially compared to Colin's epic war wounds, and I can't help wondering if she was thinking, why did you bother declaring them? I had a post-donation bleed too, but while I was still there, not after having gone for a swim.
Excellent. What was it in the cafeteria? I've had that happen.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was sort of munching away on the little snacks that they have at the end of things, and then I realised that I'm dripping all over the floor in the little snack area. And they had to clean me up and clean the floor up, and yeah.
You're supposed to donate that.
I know.
It's supposed to stay in until we jab you.
Look, I did say, grab a glass and we can just... Yeah, anyway.
I already knew Fast and Furious was on the not gonna watch list, but I was amused by the disappointment in Thomas's voice. It's not a very good film, though, is it? I've always wondered why filmmakers manage to trip over their shoelaces so much. Picking the wrong story, not recognising that a script is stupid, having the wrong actors, not being aware of the mood they're creating.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully next week's Red Washout will be more interesting.
Red Washout.
The trouble is, you pour all this money in, and the executives don't know what they're doing either.
No.
So if they think in their infinite wisdom, if they think in their infinite wisdom, yeah, we can put more money into this, then they probably will, and then regret it later.
It's a machine. As long as sticking the $5 note in and it spits out a $10 note, we're good.
Yeah.
And so far, it's kept doing that.
Not a lot of $10 notes going around nowadays.
No.
Entosferatu has a comment on last week's episode.
Hi again, Entosferatu.
Which says, what are some other X and Y buddy movies? Tango and Cash comes to mind.
Yeah.
Jack Palance chewing the scenery and going back for seconds. Kurt Russell in drag. I don't know if it holds up, but it might be worth a watch.
No, I don't know. Yes. The whole Jack Palance thing is probably my main memory of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the vibe that Kurt Russell and... Who was it? Sylvester Stallone? I just have a recollection that they just didn't seem to quite gel together. And now I'm wondering whether it was Sylvester Stallone.
Oh yeah, that's Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Doing a very Sylvester Stallone face.
Oh, now, speaking of which...
Yeah?
I believe that, going back to Tony Scott, that he had an affair with Sylvester Stallone's wife and ended up marrying her. And it all got a bit messy. Am I making that up? Sorry, this is how my mind's been working lately.
Tony Scott's second marriage was in 1986 to advertising executive Glynis Sanders. They divorced a year later when his affair with Bridget Nielsen, married to Sylvester Stallone at the time, whom he met on the set of Beverly Hills Cop 2, became public.
Oh dear. So, there we go.
Those two did not then become married.
But yes, there was an affair happening there. Yes. Okay. Sorry.
Entosferatu continues and concludes, I'm excited for next week's film, Vermilion Sleigh.
Yes.
Back on buddy movies. I should see Thelma and Louise at some point.
Yes. Yeah, add that to the list, because I haven't seen it. It will probably make us uncomfortable in places, I believe. Yeah. But yes. Who else is there?
Well, obviously there's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That's an X and Y buddy comedy.
Yeah.
Well, not a comedy. Not really a comedy.
Oh, look, when I first read that, I thought, right, they're going to just roll off my tongue. There's this, and this. And no, I didn't write any of them. Shame on me. Oh, there's more.
There is more, yes.
Wow.
Came in just as I was checking before we recorded. I was like, oh, I guess I have to go back to my computer and screenshot this. And
well, of course you did. It's M.
And check the line read.
It's M.
It is M.
Hi, M.
Who says, yes, the iconic Scarlet Wave. And in reference to last week when I said, and then we'll be left on a cliffhanger, I suppose, possibly indefinitely. Well, that's a bit ominous now, isn't it?
It is, very much so.
which will take us up to the guesses.
It
and
will.
There are multiple guesses here.
There are oodles.
And taking them in chronological order, we start with E of Pi, who says, as for the guess, Hubsenschur, as in Hubsenschur, as in Hubsenschur, as in Hubsenschur. That's HBBSNSHW.
That's pretty solid.
Helen says, for this week, my guess is Hob Shaw. It seems the only sensible thing.
That's pretty solid.
M also goes for Hob Shaw.
That's pretty solid. So we've either got to split the one arbitrary point that we can allocate for this episode between two people, or to one, or we keep it to ourselves.
So, are we here going against the tide of public opinion? Yes, we are. We are going against the tide of public opinion because E of Pi was correct with Hubs Sure.
Well done, E of Pi. Hooray!
Hooray, yay.
Yay!
Yay.
I'm showing Thomas. Sorry, we didn't really give that the proper respect that it deserves, but E of Pi does get the arbitrary point. The possibility of anyone getting the arbitrary point for this week's episode is being considered by Thomas now as he looks at the...
I'd say it's reasonable.
Yeah.
Use all the letters.
Yes, use all the letters.
And see where that takes you.
Indeed.
If you do want to make a file name guess, or make a film suggestion, or comment on our commentary, or the film that we've watched, then do so in the usual places.
Yeah. So not the third stall along in the men's public toilet at Belrive Oval.
This is probably your last chance to get vaguely immediate feedback before we go on break after next week's episode.
Yeah. It's got me curious about next week's episode.
On the other hand, after next week's episode, you've got like 3 weeks to get a comment in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you could finally craft some fine wordsmithing or something. Anyway, let's move on.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed.
And as long as it's not the Polar Express, it's your turn.
It is not the Polar Express.
Excellent. Good. As long as it's not Christmas Carol with, what's his name?
Jim Carrey?
Yeah, as long as it's not Jim Carrey's Christmas Carol.
Did that come before or after Polar Express? After.
Yeah,
so it just went further into uncanny.
You would think that he would have learnt, but no. It was Zemeckis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a third one in there that isn't Christmas related.
Yeah.
It was a choice.
Yeah. Okay,
no.
Thomas. Lay it on me.
So, some time back now, we had a podcast, and it was called Still Under Wraps.
We did.
And towards the end of that podcast, we watched half of a series. And it was the back half of that series.
Okay.
Now, I don't intend to open a debate here about what is or isn't a Christmas movie.
Right.
I just want to have fun this Christmas.
Okay.
And the movie I intend to watch is fun. In a time when the lead actor was capable of having fun because the aphasia hadn't set in nearly yet.
Right. Okay. Uh-huh.
Are you getting anything from this?
I think I might be.
Yeah.
Am I yippee-ki-yaying?
Yes.
Right. In a very tall building?
Yeah.
Right. And crawling through air ducts?
You would be, yes.
I saw a really great Lego minifig diorama that was basically a person crawling through a air duct holding a burning. Yeah. But no, I've got nothing, Thomas.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
this series...
I mean, I'm dying here. Hard.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are we watching next week?
We are watching the first film in a series that peaked early and then peaked again a little later,
Yeah.
but then fell well into the doldrums.
Yes. You've seen it though, haven't you?
Yes.
Right,
yes,
good,
yes.
good.
Watched it in preparation for the back half of
Yes,
the series.
good. Okay.
Which we did for the podcast.
Yeah. I think there are some people in this household that have not seen it, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Die Hard.
It is. Not with a vengeance,
No?
just Die Hard. Yeah. Cool. Christmas movie.
Again, not intending to open up that debate.
No, we wouldn't
I just
dare.
want to watch a fun movie. And Die Hard, as far as I remember, is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Next week, just in time for a festive season for some reason, we're watching Home Alone. We're watching Die Hard. We hope that you can join us, but until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
Don't get scared now. Kevin's gone and got himself an RV. No. Some stopping. Is sometimes overbearing Hans Zimmer soundtrack where he decided to get the synths a little heavy.
It's the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.